Today, we're talking about something huge. One of the most ambitious projects you'll find anywhere on the planet, actually. It's called Agenda 2063, and it's the African Union's massive 50-year master plan to completely transform an entire continent. So yeah, let's get into it. But here's the big question, the one that's really at the heart of this whole thing. Is this grand vision a real practical blueprint for the future? Or, as some pretty serious analysis has asked, is it just another lofty, feel-good plan that won't actually go anywhere? That's what we're going to unpack today. All right, so first things first, what exactly is this 50-year vision we're talking about? Well, on paper, Agenda 2063 is the official strategic framework from the African Union. It was adopted back in 2015. But what does that mean? Basically, think of it as a super detailed roadmap for social and economic transformation, all about harnessing Africa's own incredible human and natural resources. The whole idea is captured in this really powerful phrase, the Africa we want. And the goals, wow, they are not small. We're talking about a prosperous, fully integrated continent, a place built on good governance and democracy, a peaceful and secure Africa, one with a strong cultural identity, and, this is so key, an Africa where development is driven by its own people. Okay, so that's the dream, but, a vision is one thing, and reality is often something else entirely. And this is where the plan starts to come under some serious scrutiny. To really get why some people are skeptical, you have to look at the history. As researchers point out, ever since independence, these amazing hopes for unity and progress have often been derailed by conflict, by fractured governments, by political instability. So that history, it creates a pretty healthy dose of doubt about any new grand plan. Now, to get a handle on the challenges facing the plan today, we're turning to a recent study. Researchers went out and actually talked to 60 key officials, the people on the ground, across 30 different African countries to pinpoint exactly why this vision is so hard to turn into reality. So, this brings us to a really crucial word you need to know: domestication. It sounds a bit technical, but all it really means is taking those big, continent-wide goals and actually writing them into the laws and policies of each individual country. And this, right here, is where the grand aspirations slam into hard reality. And that study? It identified 9 major hurdles, 9 big roadblocks standing in the way of making Agenda 2060 a reality. Let's break them down. The first bucket of problems is all about governance and institutions. We're talking about things like political instability and corruption, which just completely destroy public trust. Then you have government departments that don't talk to each other, leading to all kinds of waste. And sometimes it's as simple as not having enough trained people to actually do the work. And weak governance isn't just some abstract concept. I mean, think about the state capture scandals in South Africa that the research points to. That's a perfect example of how stealing public funds directly cripples a country's ability to develop. All right, next up, hurdles related to money and people. A lot of nations are dealing with huge budget deficits. They might have to rely on foreign aid, which can sometimes pull their priorities in a different direction. At the same time, if you're not investing enough in education, you get a skills gap. People don't have the training for the jobs that are needed. And again, you see ministries working in their own little silos, which just weakens everything. The resource problem is crystal clear when you look at an example like Angola. Here's a country with incredible natural resource wealth, but mismanagement has meant there's just not enough money left over for other critical development goals that are part of Agenda 2063. And the last big set of hurdles the researchers found, it's all about engagement and data, or, a lack of it. Too often, policies are made in the capital city without really talking to local communities. Key groups like women, young people, and folks in rural areas just get left out of the conversation. And maybe worst of all, if you don't have good data, how on earth can you track your progress or make smart decisions? So yeah, that's a lot of challenges. It can sound pretty bleak, right? But the good news is, the research doesn't just stop at pointing out what's wrong. It also lays out a pretty clear path forward. So the researchers suggest a 4-step plan. Step 1, strengthen governance. That means tough anti-corruption laws and better training for public officials to build both trust and skill. Step 2, unlock new money. And we're not just talking about aid. This is about being creative, exploring partnerships with private companies, and getting better at collecting taxes at home to build a sustainable budget. Third, and this is a big one, build real partnerships. Create spaces where the government, community organizations, and the private sector can all work together, pulling in the same direction. And finally, it all comes back to data. You've got to invest in modern systems to track everything, because you can't fix what you can't measure, right?
All of which brings us right back to where we started. When you weigh the massive ambition against these huge challenges, is Agenda 2063 a real possibility? Or is it just another empty promise?
And honestly, there's no easy answer. It's a classic case of on the one hand, on the other hand. On the side of hope, you've got a unified, continent-wide vision for the first time, a detailed roadmap that even lines up with global goals. That's huge. But on the side of doubt, you have those deep-rooted corruption problems, massive resource gaps, and a long, long history of other ambitious plans that just fizzled out. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing: implementation. The plan, the destination, the roadmap, it's all written down. The final, critical question that remains is this: who is going to build the road?